Hey guys, I'm Tushar and today I'll be talking about e-business security. So let's begin with talking about what's e-business. So as the definition suggests, e-business or electronic business, it is the administration of conducting business with the use of internet. So it basically consists of anything related to buying and selling of goods, as well as providing services like technical or customer support. One example of this could be Amazon, which allows you to both buy and sell goods, as well as provide with you with the technical support and services. Another example could be Kijiji or any other website that you use online for buying or selling of goods or services. So one thing that people often misinterpret is they confuse e-business with e-commerce. E-commerce is basically a subset of e-business. It contains anything related to buying and selling of goods. However, e-business looks at a broader prospect and it also includes services in addition to sales of goods. E-business contains 5 different components, namely the software, procedure, people, information, and infrastructure. Out of which infrastructure is the most vulnerable to e-business system, as it is the most risky because any hacker could come outside your building, hack into the Wi-Fi password and try to get some information which he or she may not be authorized to get some information, like your date of birth, your age, or your credit card information. So it's pretty risky. So in order to take care of that, we make use of access controls to avoid such actions. Moving on, here is what the infrastructure of e-business looks like. So it contains a web server and a webmaster, an authentication server, a database server, an application server, a firewall, internet service provider like Rogers, domain name server, that's your internet IP, as well as routers and switches, web hosting software, website tracking tool, website management system, and communication and networks. Moving on, let's talk about the risk related to e-business. So it basically contains 5 major risks, beginning with incomplete transactions, unauthorized transactions, inaccurate transactions, untimely transactions, and non-occurrence of transactions. So I'm going to pause here and I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think about each of these risks and how would you rate them from moderate to high and low? So incomplete transaction has a pretty high risk. Oh, my bad. It has a pretty moderate risk. Unauthorized transaction, on the other hand, has a pretty high risk, as well as inaccurate transaction, which also has a high risk. However, untimely transaction does have a low risk because internet transactions are pretty fast with the new developing technology. And lastly, the non-occurrence of a transaction is pretty high because people usually forget to click the confirm button, so the transaction doesn't take place. Moving on, here are the controls of e-business. So these controls are designed in order to both prevent and detect a e-business risk or any hijacking or hacking of their information or the system. So some of the controls related to e-business are boundary checking, digital certificate, digital signature, a disaster recovery plan in case there's a hack, and there's an edit check, there's encryption, there's firewall, there's intrusion detection and prevention system, as well as online backup. There is also recalculation of transaction data and redundant communication lines, as well as redundant servers. And lastly, a website refresh. Moving on, RFID, also known as radio frequency identification, they play a pretty important part in e-business because they are used everywhere from Walmart to Costco to anywhere else. So what it basically does, it makes use of radio waves. So the antenna detects a transponder or a tag, which is basically a barcode. It reads that and sends that information over to a reader, as you can see in the picture over here, which interprets the barcode or the data and sends it forward to the computer where all the details of that item is placed and stored. Moving on, here are some of the advantages and disadvantages of e-business. So some of the advantages are its access control, asset visibility, item and user tracking in real time, and portable database. And some of the cons related to it are the privacy breach, the tracking and interception, unauthorized tag removal, and finally the incomplete or incorrect data transaction. Moving on, let's talk about some of the technical security standards that we use in order to prevent any data breach or hacking. So the payment card industry data security standards, which are the PCI DSS, it ensures that the merchants adhere to the minimum security standards when storing, transmitting or processing an information because it's pretty sensitive data. Some of the types of security standards that they use are physical security, network security, system security, database security, web server security, and application security. So that would be all for today's presentation, guys, and I'm going to open the floor for some questions.